So how can those managers with their bad body language, as Neil says, transfer that motivation to their players? Neither camp perhaps has been particularly happy all season. I mean, are either side going to want to win it for their manager?
I think United, it'll be easier for Mourinho because he's traditionally been a man for winning cups. He's won 12 cup finals out of 14, and that's ignoring some of the ones he likes to count, like the Super Cup and the Charity Shield and whatever else he won, those one-off events. So he's a great record now. I think he's been lining this up since they beat Spurs. I don't think he's been too concerned about the league games. Conte, over the last few matches, the only match that concerned him really was the Liverpool one, where Liverpool had just beaten Roma. He wanted to douse the flame a little bit there of Liverpool going to the Champions League final, and they played very well in that game to beat Liverpool 1-0. But since then, they've been abysmal, particularly so at Newcastle last week, beaten 3-0. I think it'll be harder for him to get his players back up, because I would think in the background there's obviously seems to be an acceptance that he's going to go, that this will be his last game. Whereas Mourinho is going to be there, and he'll be making decisions on who stays or goes for next season and who's going to be part of the squad.
So potentially he might be able to get more motivation into his squad because of the fact that they know they're playing for their places and their places in the pecking order.
Yeah, but you can't rule out that Conte, if he's in the humour himself, when he's that box of tricks on the sideline, the energy, the involved in the game, running up and down the touchline, dragging players across the pitch. When he's at it like that, the team responds. But you see him some days, he sits in the dugout as if he's detached from what's happening. And if they lose a goal, he gets further detached and doesn't get involved, and his team kind of sinks with him. It's a strange one, where he's not consistent.
As a player, you don't get to a cup final and not try. I think week in, week out, there's obvious unhappiness at Chelsea. I think that goes back to pre-season when the manager wasn't getting the players he wanted. That hands a wonderful excuse to some of the players in the dressing room not to be given everything. Maybe the ones on the fringes chirping away. The manager's vulnerable. The results are not good. He's walking around, you know, with a long face. But you don't get to an FA Cup final or any cup final and hold anything back. I mean, Chelsea could turn up today. I mean, against...
As they did against Spurs. I mean, Spurs' performance was their best performance.
Did you see the interview with Conte prior to the Newcastle game? I mean, if ever there was a manager who didn't want to be there, it was him. It's as if he should have been carrying out, you know, a placard around saying, "Please sack me, Abramovich." And I think this will be his last game. But you do not, as a player, get to a cup final and not give it 100%. And I expect Chelsea to do that today.
And for those players who finished fifth in the table, would there be a sense among them wanting to show that we're not as bad as that?
Yeah, I mean, this game will be shown throughout the world. I come back to it. It's Wembley. You don't get enough, you know, unless you've been Tottenham player this year. You know, you can never play at Wembley enough. I mean, this is a cup final that there's a hell of a lot of prestige attached to it, a hell of a lot of spotlight on it for that 90 minutes. And you're aware of that as a player. And when you know, from leaving the hotel to getting to the stadium, to going out to warm up, to come back into the dressing room, and then walking out just before the game starts, if that doesn't motivate you, as a player in their own business.
When Graeme makes the point he wasn't happy with the signings or the lack of signings at the start of the season. What does that emanate to the rest of the squad then, or the players that he's brought in? The likes of Drinkwater, you know, Zappacosta,
Morata is the biggest failure.
We'll pick over that in more detail shortly.
It's been all about him and how he's feeling rather than the actual season and the team in its essence.